Stay tuned, my corners, and welcome back to another episode of MegaMek as we continue the campaigns of the Striking Serpents. And last time, Diamondback got their feet wet for the day at the start of the stream day and managed to knock out an entire enemy anti-aircraft position. Did quite well for themselves. I can't wait to go after that unique assassin. Yes. If you're gonna have some trouble with her. Can I load up multiple copies of this? I'm gonna save and I'm gonna try that. Save campaign. Save that. Yes, I wish to overwrite. Because if I can open... I don't want to show you too much, actually, of Pantheon Company. I have an entire setup with this for Pantheon as well. Those who control the skies win the war quicker and easier. Yeah, and you guys decided to go after the airbase first, so it'll be very interesting. So, the company, as it is that we're currently working with, the Striking Serpents, who are they? What do they do? Can we just hit her with a union? You'll get shot down trying, but sure, you can try if you want to. Was moderating a stream. How did you do? Who was your pilot again? I'm sorry, JP. I do not remember. Let's see. Personnel. I need MekHQ. Sort by force. Diamondback. Where's JP? JP was in the Raven 2X. You managed to knock out the main gun on a Hetzer in one large laser shot. You also managed to distract quite a bit of incoming fire, so good job. Yep, you're like, we shall aim where she will be. And so, I don't think it'll work as well as you think it will. So the company... so the idea of what we're doing with the campaign, we started in the year 3030, it is now the year 3031. The Striking Serpents was created by the enigmatic Captain Ward Sprogue Harper. Nobody knows why his call sign is Sprogue. But yes, Sprogue is the major, although he refuses to take the courtesy promotion to major. He wants to maintain a captain, but Captain Sprogue leads the Striking Serpents, a force which started rather small and has, as you can see, kind of ballooned to a force that is now in excess of 5,000 tons. So that's nice. Nobody's ever told me that. Hey, where does a man suddenly show up with an entire Union dropship and enough cash to build an entire company of mercenaries within the course of a year? I call that pretty gosh darn enigmatic. So you can read a little bit of the fluff text. What do you guys think? Should I start reading through all of your fluff texts? Because I think I have one for every single one of you. Did I even? Yes, I even wrote it for Garter, Hoop. How about Indigo? Oh, Indigo missed. Actually, give me just 1 second to double check the description on something. Just to make sure that I'm not giving you any spoilers. Yeah, okay. Just had to remove something so you couldn't see it. Hello, Redgar. Welcome to the stream. So we're about to do our little tour of all of the things that we're doing. So the Striking Serpents right now is pretty much it's almost a regimental task force. It's not that bad, but it's a significant force at this point. We have 4 mech lances, which are all consisting of human pilots, except for right now, we have one of our backup pilots contributing to one of these lances. That Diamondback was getting a backup pilot. Apparently not. But yeah, we have a fairly significant amount of... Oh, right! I forgot to remove people. Sorry. I'm a little scatterbrained from the way that this thing goes. You asked the Lance Commanders to write the description? Yes, and most of them did. But the Striking Serpents started as just a single mech company, but had to expand as their operations grew and their appetites grew. So we are consisting of 4 lances right now, and you may have noticed the little star icon above them. This is the symbol for a full star. So each one of these is supposed to be at full strength an entire star. So we have 20 human pilots driving mechs, plus another 2 driving aerospace fighters. We have 2 more aerospace fighters being commanded by humans. We also have a person in... Yes, there's Tacitus Virgil, who is in Garter Lance, who is also a human player who is graciously willing to drive something other than a mech. And he commands Garter. So you may have noticed that every single one of these is named after various snakes. Obvious reasons. They are the Striking Serpents. Adder Lance is our Assault Lance, as you can see, the big A. So A is Assault, H is Heavy, M is Medium, L is Light. So our Heavy Lance is consisting of two Atlases, a Highlander, a Stalker, and an Awesome. So they are under the command of Harris Baron Elgood. That's the guy in the B9 Atlas up there, which is an Atlas with a hatchet and a odd array of weaponry. And they are by far our most powerful lance, just in terms of raw damage numbers. They just put out hilarious amounts of firepower. Being an assault lance, they have various advantages, which you can actually check on the Discord in our important information section for the MekHQ stuff, where they have a shocking presence sort of thing. So infantry, if they're on the field when these guys take the field, there is a chance that they will just flee and not want to actually face up against things. And for all the mechs that have the distracting presence or distracting appearance, that gives us an additional chance of making that happen. Raz is awesome. We don't trust him anymore. Yes, he's driving a loaned awesome right now. But yeah, we've got Vanguard is currently driving the Death Egg, which is our Stalker 3FL, which is 3 large lasers and a massive number of medium lasers. So it's basically a disco ball that goes walking around. We then have Knight, who is call sign Pyro, so Pyro Knight, the maniacal Pyro Knight, is our Highlander pilot. The Highlander is, I believe, just playing Super Victor right now with an SRM-6 and AC-20. I can look at this. Why am I not doing that? Yeah, SRM-6. Oh no, he's playing Discount Atlas. So AC-20, LRM-20, SRM-6, 2 medium lasers. He's short 2 medium lasers, but he's got jump jets, so not terrible at all. Then, of course, we have A Bubble over here, who's driving a just bog standard Atlas 7D, which is quite nice. It's not the greatest mech in the world, but it's demonstrated that it can certainly manage to take a significant pounding. And then, of course, we have Raza, who has been with us for not all that long, but in that time has managed to make a rather explosive impression on the company, and is currently driving an awesome. Used to be driving his custom Hunchback, the Thumpback, which had a thumper in the hunch instead of an AC-20, which was debatable in how useful it was, but quite an interesting idea. I will kill all false pyros who dare pilot a fire starter. Yeah, so that's Adder Lance. Boa Lance is our Battle Lance. It was somewhat accidental that all of the names would coincide with sort of their role in their lance role, which you can read more about again over on the Discord if you check out. I think Sprog actually could put up a link to the Discord, but if you check down below, you'll notice there's a couple of urban mechs. They'll take you there. One will take you to our Discord, and you go to the MekHQ important information section, scroll up a bit, and there's the lance roles. But Boa is our battle lance, sort of our frontline, mainline combat unit. They're not all that insane. They're not shock troops. They're just continuous battle soldiers, I guess, would be the way I'm trying and somewhat failing to describe it. The idea is they're a conventional force. They're not thrown at heavy enemy fortifications like Adder Lance is. Like Adder Lance is an assault lance. It is designed to be just chucked at the biggest, nastiest thing and pound so hard on it that you punch through it. Boa Lance is designed more for a bit of a longer-ish battle. They're meant for conventional warfare. And they're being led, of course, by Mustadio Astramici, also known as Warden. And he drives his custom Archer 2R6, also known as the Arbalest. And he's allowed to call it the Arbalest because the actual Arbalest battle mech does not exist yet. So, without the taxes being done, you don't get the big stumpy mech. We are the big brother that goes after. That is true. And as you can see, they're labeled as a battle lance. They're flexible. They're very useful. They are kind of faster than you might anticipate for what it is they do. Still want to see the Ardian tanks get some action. We could start throwing them into certain kinds of fights. Welcome back, Ginger. We're just going through a bit of a company tour right now. So Mustadio has been with us for a while and has hopped around a lot. So Warden used to drive. His first mech was a rifleman. Then he moved to an archer. Then he lost his archer and moved to a battle master. Then he managed to blow up his battle master and was moved to another archer, which I believe then that archer was modified to the R5. So he's been one of our more bouncing around pilots quite a bit. So, yes, they did win. They killed 2 AA partisans. We just swarmed them. Very little damage. Yeah, it was very nice. So Archer, his custom Arbalest is equipped with 5 SRM-6 launchers, so he basically just shows up and alpha strikes your face. It's rather devastating. And if he ever gets any melee quirks to go with that, this archer is going to be insane because he has no arm-mounted weapons. So he's got 12 in the left torso, 12 in the right torso, and 6 in the center torso. And then he's got battle fists. So this archer is terrifying in close combat. And this archer has also managed to headshot 2 Atlases. So rather deadly. A lot deadlier than I thought it was going to be. The SRMs are anti-tank and the fists are anti-mech. That's a good way of putting it. We just can't give him good things. No, the Arbalest has been one amazing ride. Alright, so next up we have Sentinel, who is a Stormwind over on our Discord. And he has not been with us as long. He joined us after the first year, it looks like. His personnel log joined the company on 12/12/30/30, and we started on 1/1/30/30. Sounds like I should confiscate that archer for myself. You can try, but he kind of outranks you if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he's a lieutenant and you're not. So Sentinel has been driving this same Marauder since basically the beginning, and this Marauder is just a headshot master. It has continuously and consistently just wiped people off the map using those PPCs. And this most recent version, he has finally modified it away from the version he had been using, which was the, oh god, what is it? 3D, I want to say. I think it was just a box standard 3D, which has the large laser. So he modified it from that, he took out the large laser, gave himself some jump jets and a little bit more armor. But with those PPCs, he's just an absolute master when it comes to removing somebody's head from their shoulders. He is protagonist levels of good when it comes to that sort of thing. Glass, who is Glass Armor over on our Vanguard the V8. So Glass has been with us for quite some time as well. He joined in March, so only 3 months in from the campaign. I believe he was one of our first people who joined in afterwards. And he has also kind of bounced around a bit. He came in with a Wolverine, and I believe on his first mission, he joined the company on March the 21st, and on March the 30th he was removed from the Wolverine because on his very first mission, they got jumped by a pair of Victors, and it just ended horrifically. So he's moved around a little bit. However, his Black Knight is actually a hand-me-down from Vanguard, and well, this thing has been shot to pieces so many times I'm stunned it still exists, because it's nothing but medium lasers, just a massive array of medium lasers that can just unload on the enemy. And that's about it. And because of that, he's got to get close to the enemy. And by the time he gets there, there's generally only pieces of the mech left. It makes for a great distraction Carnifex, but somewhat dubious. And as you can see, he's taken a lot of injuries because of that. Just mech gets absolutely blown to little tiny bits. Is the derby looking image? Yes, I keep telling myself that I'm going to go back and I'm going to replace all of these images with pictures from either just line drawings or MechWarrior Online, but I never get around to doing it. Yeah, that's the derpy ass image that goes with it. Gabriel Charger. Aaron Charger Gabriel is also Laurendale86 from our Discord, and he also shows up here on occasion. He was assigned to a Charger, which was very amusing to me because his name was Charger. Made life very, very easy, unlike, Dragon, who drives a Griffin, and Griffin, who drives a Dragon. Those two have managed to confuse the hell out of me several times. But he used to drive a Charger. He drove that Charger for quite some time, actually. 7 months inside a Charger 1A1. After that point, he was captured by one of the companies that we currently sort of fight against all of the time, Psycho's Irregulars, and they stole his Charger. And when they stole his Charger, they realized that his Charger was absolute garbage, and they started to replace his Charger with something better. And that was a Charger 1A4 or 1A5, which Charger was eventually assigned to. He did a really good job on that mech, and then it got blown up. So he's now currently driving our Loner Warhammer, which takes a lot of fire, I've noticed, which is somewhat annoying. But other than that, it's proven to be, it's a Warhammer. What are you going to do with it? Then, of course, we have Autobot. Hi, Otto. You're here. Autobot drives the Warg. which is a Crusader, which has been modified basically to remove the machine guns, because the machine guns on a Crusader are suicidal. Work has not been with us all that long. However, he's hoping to make a rather significant impact. These LRM-15s have proven to be quite useful, quite often. So probably it is our best long-range indirect fire support whenever we can use them. But yeah, it hasn't been with us in too many missions just yet, but eventually we're going to make things work out quite nicely. And that's Boa Lance. Cobra. Cobra is probably our longest standing lance, and it's been led by the exact same guy since day one, and that is Alan Thorne Sharp, who is Simbri. And Simbri has been kind of a backbone to the company. He has driven this same Shadowhawk since day one. It's never been blown up. It's never been modified from what... no, it's been modified once to put in some extra communication equipment into the Shadowhawk. But this thing is... I mean, it's bog standard reliable. He is the second or third most consistent pilot in the entire company. And he does it in a mech that I would classify as not being impressively good, but just reliable. And as you can see, his battle honors just continue to stretch. He's at 23, which I believe is the highest in the company right now. So just managing to completely beat the FLM crap out of things. Although his first kill was a lumberjack, which is somewhat amusing to me. His Hawk is a Griffin 1S. Yep, that's literally what it was. Yes, this is the definition of all reliable. And that brings us, of course, to Matt Anders Argentavis, who is another one of these pilots who has been at the exact same bloody mech, and he has never changed his mech ever since day one. It has been the same gosh darn Griffin 1N since we started. He doesn't die. He's got 21 kills. I can't complain about his methods. He's impressively reliable. He's not as flashy as someone like Sentinel is, who constantly gets headshots, but his Griffin, man, it's so well put together, and it annoys me at how well it's put together, because it's boring as all hell. It's just a standard Griffin 1N. It's a PPC and an LRM-10. That's so boring, but it just works so goddamn well, and it kind of irritates me. But no, this is a fantastic mech. I don't even know if he's going to change it once we start getting more of the Lost Tech showing up. I think he's just going to... He can probably just keep rolling on with exactly what it is, because it just doesn't need anything done to it. This brings us to Iceman, who's Maverin over on the Discord. Maverin's a bit of a hard luck case. Like, the poor bastard. He's been in some rough spots here with his Grasshopper, although he has been in this Grasshopper since day one. So there's that. Hi, Mav. I just have this mental image. Yeah, you were assigned to the B9 for a little bit while the Grasshopper was being completely overhauled after a very horrific mission. You can't complain with the results, though. 17 kills is not bad. But... Or no, 17 missions, 19 kills. He's one of our higher scoring pilots too. I would have replaced the LRM-10 with his SRM-12 with 120. I'm afraid to touch it. But yeah, this was sort of the originator of the whole give me lasers and a hatchet thing that's kind of come out with our company. Like, so many people have said, give me lasers and a hatchet, that's all I need. It's kind of because of Math. So he was the first one who did it, because he brought out the Grass Chopper, which is his Grasshopper HT, which has a 2.5 or 5 ton hatchet, one of the two, on his right arm, and then he's got a large laser in the center torso and just a whole ton of medium lasers, and he goes to town with it. It's really useful. It tends to take a lot of fire, just like the Black Knight, except for some reason it tends to get away with it a little bit better than the Black Knight does. But yeah, this was our original gimme lasers and a hatchet, and it's worked out pretty decent. The reasons why it works out pretty decent is because it's stuffed to the brim full of jump jets. It's got a fairly solidly reliable extra loadout of heavy weapons, but it's very hard to use. Like, it takes so much work to get this thing into a good position. When it does, it hits like a truck. But you gotta get there. Luckily, he's placed in with a company that is very nimble and maneuverable and able to do things like that. That's because he got an axe. He gets to ask the enemy so many questions. It's the jump jets he can get away. Hatchets and lasers give me a blackjack, autocannons, and jump jets. Remember the Black Knight always triumphs. God, there was a 5-hour battle we did once. I'm not exaggerating on the times. It literally took us like 5 hours to do. There's Discord logs of me playing through the entire battle, complete with screenshots as I went along the way. That Black Knight was shot to so many pieces that like one leg was gone. It was dragging itself along the ground trying to get towards enemies. Like it was... I'm amazed that Black Knight is still alive. So after that, continuing Cobra, one of our newer arrivals, so Reginald Tiviane, Grizz. So Grizzly has been with us since the 7th, so for 2 months in the company. Longer than that, obviously. He's been with us for much longer than that. But one of the newer people into the company, absolutely, his Dragon 1GR, which it's basically, it's a Grand Dragon, but we wanted to modify it for air assault, because the idea was that everybody in Cobra had jump jets. And so they wanted to sort of continue that trend by making them all capable of being able to jump out of a dropship and just sort of like drop down unassisted, which is really useful. I don't think we'll be able to watch the stream. There's only one video setting and it's constantly buffering. Oh, do we not have options? That's interesting. The gatekeeper of Cobra, they have to go through me to get these. That is true. When that grasshopper gets in the way, it pushes everybody back, which is very useful. But yeah, so Grizz is driving a Dragon 1GR, which is a modified Grand Dragon. Obviously, it's not the full Grand Dragon. It is the old version. It doesn't have the XL engine, doesn't have all the cool, awesome stuff. But the big thing is it swaps out the AC5 for a PPC, which is just better in all respects. Like, the existence of that AC5 is horrible. They swapped out pretty much most of the weapon systems, so it's PPC, 3 medium lasers, and the pair of flamers. The flamers are a hell of a lot more effective than I ever thought they would be. They are just absolute barbecue machines that annihilate vehicles. Because he wanted to have some form of anti-infantry, and I told him, you've got machine guns, you've got flamers, take your pick. And the answer was, give me flamers, because it makes sense with the Grand Dragon, and oh god, is this thing hilariously fun. It just lights up the entire world. Very nimble. It's a 5.83, so it's got a lot of speed, but when push comes to shove, it can bounce a little bit. I really can't wait until XL engines come out so I can modify this thing a bit more. I work with the people who actually run the mechs, but I think once we put an XL engine, we can really fix a lot of stuff on this mech. Not that it really needs much fixing. It's proven to be quite tough. It's proven to be quite reliable. Last week on the stream, it tanked like 3 or 4 AC-20 shells, so pretty solid mech right here. Also, it's got phenomenal stats. It's got extended torso twist, which means it can turn even more on a twist. It's got narrow low profile, which gives it a +1 to anybody trying to shoot at them. And then it's got stable, which I think gives it like a -1 to instability penalties, which is really nice. And of course, we have Brick. This is Robert Brick McCadden, call sign Ravager. And he is also another one of our new people, joined at about the same time as Grizzly did. And he's currently driving the Brutus, which is his custom-designed Thunderbolt 5SC. The Brutus is a very interestingly designed Thunderbolt. It's much more aggressive than your normal Thunderbolt is, mainly because it's so much more nimble. It's a 4.64, which is really nice. Packing a PPC instead for that really big slug damage that you need to start throwing. I actually rolled a design that was incredibly similar to this in MechWarrior 5, and it's actually really good. 3 shells hit, 3 shells missed. Okay, still, that's a lot of AC-20 shells to take. So I'm actually really liking this Thunderbolt as just sort of a frontline holding. The only problem with it is the enemy always seems to get behind it. And he's only got 6 armor in the back, but he's got 20 armor up front on his side torsos. He's got he's got 24 armor up front on his side torsos and 30 in the center torso. Like, this thing can take a pounding as long as you can keep the wasps away. I'll try streaming it to the telly. Good luck. Yeah, Cobra Lance is our cavalry lance, as you can see down here. And they are nimble, they're aggressive, they can be anywhere as fast as you can possibly imagine it. And every single one of them is equipped with jump jets, so they can hop out of a dropship instead of having to actually ride the whole thing down. There's 2 demolishers and their big brother. Yeah, a devastator. So, we've gone through Adder, we've gone through Bow, we've gone through Cobra, and now to Diamondback. Diamondback is probably the lance that's seen the most change throughout things, and in fact, I believe they're the only lance that's being led by somebody who isn't one of the original crew. Is that true? It Yeah, 1-1, and Baron is also 1-1. Yeah. So Diamondback is. They were also the final lance that was added to the group. It used to be just 3 lances, and then we went up to 4. That's your net speed. I'm having the same issue. It was 2 dimensional. Yeah. So they are our scout lance, designed to go out and be super nimble. There are requirements for these various different types of lances, like you must be X fast. You can only have mechs of so many type in order to get certain benefits, which come from the rule set that we're currently using. But Diamondback is our scout lance. They're 215 tons, and they used to be 3 Ravens and 2 Phoenix Hawks. Unfortunately, one of our pilots was ambushed by a set of deserters, and we are currently attempting actually to track him down. I think Firehawk is one of the youngest pilots we have. I wouldn't be surprised. He's 24. Personnel. Go to Fluff. He is not. Mavis got to be by 3 years. But yeah, he is one of the younger pilots in the company. Mav is very much our Gundam pilot. So he's currently driving a Phoenix Hawk HTC, and he follows in on the line of just give me lasers and a hatchet. He's even more nimble and maneuverable. He's a 696, which means he walks 6, he runs 9, and he flies 6. So one of the deserters had an Urban Mech R60L with an AC-20. Yeah, and it finally did it in, which was kind of rough. So fairly solid mech in here. 3 medium lasers, a small laser, and a hatchet. Okay, solid might be a bit of an overstatement, but it does its job pretty well. I mean, we saw it being able to just beat the evolving crap out of a couple of tanks, which was quite nice. And if you can get this mech in behind somebody, I mean, the ability to punch with the ability to hit with the strength of a hatchet is not bad. Definitely about as light as you'd ever want to make a hatchet mech, but it does okay. On the bullet magnet. Yeah, which is not too bad because being a bullet magnet while being able to fly six tiles at a time, it's pretty nice. We then have Sergeant Xanthopus, who is Ginger, over on our Discord. He currently drives a Raven. I believe he's been driving a Raven since day. Yeah, he had a 2X when we first started, and now he's driving a 1J, which is a modified 1X. So it is on loan, extended loan from House Lau. They know about it, so we're not robbing it. Sorry to hear that, Wrecker. Exactly near max armor too. Yep. So the 1J is on extended loan from House Lau because it has the electronic warfare equipment on board, which gives us ghost mechs, which allows us to make it more difficult for the enemy to shoot at us. It helps out. 4 medium lasers is all he's got. He's basically a Jenner, but he does have that electronic warfare system. He's got a little bit more armor than a Jenner too, which is not too terrible. Not as nimble though. He's got a 5.8 movement, but no jump jets. Jenner's faster than that. As far as being a useful mech, I mean, obviously it's got an electronic warfare system. However, we only got one of these, so I am loath to ever put it in actual harm's way because it could die easily. We then have Eric Stepanovich, which is Eyes. Eyes has been with us since 10 months into the campaign. He's Mills, and yeah, Mills is driving a Phoenix Hawk 1ML. He used to be a Jenner pilot, and he probably wants to go back to a Jenner if I were to guess. But his Phoenix Hawk is once again following in the vein of the Black Knight with just give it all the lasers you can and make a medium if at all possible. So he's got 5 medium lasers, which I suppose in terms of raw damage, he does slightly less than a Jenner does, but much more reliably, and he's rather nimble and fast. It's a rather simple, straightforward mech. And of course, we have Lightfoot, the Black Sheep, JP. He is another one of our new people who recently joined the company 2 months ago. Well, really, more like one and a half months ago. And he's driving a Raven 2X, which has been pretty useful. The SRMs, he's providing a source of damage that is just not existent in the company right now, or not existent in the Lance. So they're supposed to be super nimble, light, and able to get wherever they need to be. We then have Eric's Lance, which is our infantry unit. They're named Eric's Lance because I believe Eric's is a mythical winged snake, but more importantly, Eric's is also an anti-tank missile launching system from France, and that's why I wanted to name them that. They used to originally just be 3 motorized platoons, but then we found some jump platoons to add to that, and that's quite nice. Although I'm a little bit annoyed that my jump platoons are all SRM. So not much to say about them. They go around, they sneak in, they they do a lot of hard work for us with scouting, and also ambushes are incredibly effective from these guys. Foxsnake is our Aerofighter Lance. We have 2 aerospace pilots. We have Tal Razid Razakir, who's Tal over on our Discord, and he's driving his custom F90 SD, the Sky Shedder, and it's basically equipped with 2 PPCs and a medium laser. We basically never get to fire this medium laser because he doesn't have the heat to actually control it. Oh, no, he does. We modified it before. Apparently my large laser and SRMs is quite handling for mounts. It is the infantry, the true heroes. In a couple of battles, they truly have been. But Tal was our first aerospace fighter pilot to join, and he's got 5 kills, which makes him an ace technically. One of those actually was even an air target, so that's pretty fun. I managed to blow up a Griffin, a rifleman, so not terrible out of his fighter. It's a very swingy aerospace fighter because PPCs do a lot of damage, but if you missed with the PPC, you've missed out on a ton of damage. But yeah, not a terrible thing at all. Then we got our 2 NPCs, which don't really matter. Who cares? And then, of course, we've got Greybeard, who may or may not be here. Huge help with the medium laser spam phases. And Greybeard originally had a Hellcat, which got shot down fairly early, unfortunately. The Hellcat was impressively useful, but it's kind of difficult to make. Well, it ran into a wall of anti-aircraft, so he's currently slumming it in a Loner Lightning G15 until his Hellcat gets fixed in sometime next year. Yeah, there's a lot of time left on this repair. It's gonna take forever. And that's the aerospace fighters. We then have Garter Lance and Hoop Lance, which are both artillery lances. They have a pair of ballista self-propelled artillery tanks, but sniper artillery pieces, and darter scout cars in order to go out and find things. And Indigo Lance is our maintenance lance, where we just put anybody else slumming it. I think he is. They get our Buffalo engineering vehicle, our Paramara repair vehicle, and our Sherpa armored truck, which is configured as a mesh. And right now we have a random cargo loader that is a Firebee that is not all that useful. And of course we have the King Cobra, which is a Union class dropship, which has landed on 2 enemy forces and has been hilariously powerful at doing what it does. It's rather old, it's rather beat up, but it manages to kick butt and take names, probably even better than most of the company. We're gonna have words. So that's the tour of the company. We are currently on Betelgeuse, which is right here in the southern end of the inner sphere. Right now, as far as the inner sphere is concerned, this is the only bit that exists. Pay no attention to the man above the curtain. Currently in the middle of the Andurian crisis, basically the Duchy of Andurian, these little bluish worlds, have broken away from the Free Worlds League and are deciding that they're going to take advantage of things, and they've sided with the Magistracy of Canopus down here to invade the Capellan Confederation, which is right in here, owned by House Lau. We are working for House Lau on this one in hopes of being able to push them back. So we've done a couple of missions around here. This is our 3rd contract for Lau, I believe, at this point. And you can see all kinds of fun information. This is like true full-on tabletop, which is amazing. The amount of detail and information in this game is awesome. Are we trying to get a Fortress class? No. At the moment, you wouldn't be able to afford one anyway. You only have 100. To give you an idea of how expensive something like that would be, let's see. I want to go to purchase units. Just to give you an idea of the prices that we're dealing with here. So to buy a Fortress, which was not what people were looking for, it would cost us 337,556,800 C-bills. So, yeah, a little bit outside of our price range. Shrink that so I can shrink that and open. But the one that we're really kind of looking for, that is kind of the next step up, is of course an Overlord, which is 320,863,872. We're about halfway there. So, this world is basically Armageddon from Warhammer 40k. This battle will rage over a year at this point. Yeah, I think this battle will rage for 2.5 years in total if we go by in-universe timeline. And the reason why the Striking Serpents have been hired to come here, and you can read a whole bunch of this if you go to the MekHQ section of our Discord. There's various short stories and little in-character snippets that show up. 35 years of active lore development tends to get a background setting. Great depth. Yep. But the fact that it's all incorporated into this game is what's truly impressive. We're constantly running parts. It hasn't been so bad. But the reason why we're here is because this battle has been stalled for the last year, and the Capellans would really like it to get moving again. Because if the Andurians manage to take Beetlejuice, probably most of the southern half of the Capellan Confederation will just collapse. See you around, Shade. Thanks for hanging out. Need an extra union, if anything. That would also be incredibly expensive. Yeah, that would be 213 million Seabills. Although the one that you guys are having would be 224 million Seabills. So yeah, not cheap by any stretch of the imagination. Praise be the fixer. So where we left off. Okay, we have a couple of prisoners that we've taken, so we're going to go give them to our green doc to learn. People that he can practice his craft on and hopefully do well. Does anybody at all remember what we were fixing? Ugh, that's going to be an 8. 4,800 minutes, that's way less than the 15. Yeah, we'll go with that. We better hope that we don't need to replace anybody else's fighter for the next little while, because this is going to take 10 days, probably closer to 12 to 15 days for the landing gear, plus another like 2 months to fix the rest of the avionics, assuming of course we manage to actually succeed in that check. But if we do, that'll actually put the Hellcat back online, which will give Gray his fighter back, which will be quite useful to have. Alright, does anybody remember who has the do YouTube kind here and make a special episode with just the company memory? I figured that we would go through and just finish off the rest of the housekeeping duties. Does anybody remember who currently has the repair work? I want to say that it's Adder. Yeah, because we're patching up the B9 still. Who's got the mission this month? It's Cobra. So if Cobra has the mission, how badly dented are they? Some internal damage armor to the center torso. Wait, really? Show me the Force Cobra. Yeah, other than a little bit of damage to the Shadowhawk, there doesn't seem to be anything wrong with Cobra. Do a quick check. Repair bay, show me the recipe. The Dennis dropped it pretty cheap and 1,700 tons of cargo space. That's the one I think. Yeah, eventually we'll get to a point, probably at about 200,000 Seabills, where we'll start actually looking for. We'll probably start sending people out to find additional dropships. Although that'll really depend if we want to expand the company or not, or shrink it back down. We have a lot of additional equipment now that we did not have at the beginning of this contract. That'll be rather expensive to do. Repairing that is just going to be a nightmare. Oh yeah, we agreed we weren't going to do it because it's just too dangerous. Until we can bring him back in, he's going to have to carry around that damage. Hopefully he won't take any more. So who is being worked on? The Grasshopper HT. So that means Cobra was getting access to all that? Okay. That makes sense. Unmaintained units, who? Did we pick up a new tank or something? That happens all the time. That's prisoner. Oh, the Wolverine. Wait, the Wolverine? Oh yes, the Wolverine we stole in the last mission. In a mission recently, I think. Assign tech. There you go. You can have it. And we'll turn the day. You guys are going to take forever on that one. When is Cobra's mission? The 18th, so we got another couple of days. Alright, it is Sunday. Personal care, the hover LRM, quality remains, good. Alright, so we've gone through our maintenance cycles, and now we have a mission to grab. Now, on this one, we are going to add on to Cobra's little force here. We're also going to add in a couple of fighters, because they are being deliberately held back for this mission, actually. Want to make sure, though, that we load them up with as many bombs as I can possibly cram in here. Bombs. 12 high explosives. And then check the lightning. Bombs. 10 high explosives. Okay. So we got a lot of bombs. Just hijack a house dropship when you switch sides in the conflict. You might get in a lot of trouble doing that. Like a lot of trouble. Alright, so we are going to add in the two forces from Fox Snake on this one, just to give them a little bit of additional help. So that'll be the Lightning and the Sky Shatter. Deploy unit. Battlefield reduce hide and seek. Head on over to briefing, which we're going to have to alter because this is not going to be great. And you know what? Just because people have been asking about it, I will also give some direct fire support so you guys can see kind of what it's like. Alright. Let's build a mission. We'll try and build it quickly so that we can move on to the actual fighting, because I anticipate this will take a while. So we're going to bring all of our artillery guns to support this particular operation. Don't know if that'll be super useful, but it is what we're going to have for now. That force is ridiculous. Actually, let me think. 2 Stalkers, a Manticore, a Rhino, and then a Hetzer. The Hunchback. Actually, you might be able to take it. That's not a bad match BPV-wise. Tonnage-wise, it's still not a bad match. You might be able to pull this one off. So we are going to, first things first, I don't actually want these ballistas on the field. So I am going to set them all to, where is it? Configure all. Deploy off board. So deployment is the start of the game. We will deploy off board. That way they will not actually be on the map. And their off-board direction will be from the west, because that's where my reinforcement is coming from. So, they're going to be hidden off the map. That way we won't have to worry too much about it. Let's see. What else are we doing? Deploy before round 10? Absolutely not. You would be way faster than that. So we're going to configure all. You guys will be here before round 4. No, before round 5, because you're not quite as fast as the cheetahs. And our starting velocity will be 1. Just to make it my life a little bit easier. That's a significant amount of metal, and I'm very concerned actually. Where's House Lao? Not today, Lang Chow. You can be part of the brigade. The Shin Legion. It's probably some super special awesome unit. And they're probably quite insulted, which actually makes me a little bit happy that I've managed to insult anyone from House Lao. Ooh, no, these guys, they're gonna have some really big ones. Oh, never mind, it doesn't show up at all. That's okay. There we go. Alright, so we've got a rather significant force that is currently going to be trying to stomp against us. We've brought in quite a bit of self-propelled artillery support, which hopefully will do some good work. If not, then we're going to have some serious trouble. And we brought fighters as well. So we're going to put a cut in here for the YouTube people. That way it'll be like a special episode, a meet and greet of the entire company, sort of what it is that we do and why we're here. If I've failed to explain anything, do feel free to ask questions constantly, or even better, join our Discord, which you can find down below. We'll put a link in the chat right now, but if you check down below, you'll notice a couple of urban mechs, much like the one on my t-shirt. They'll take you to various places in our community, including our Discord, where you can find out even more about this and ask all kinds of questions, read the short stories and that sort of thing that are all about it. But yeah, it'll be interesting. So, in that event, I have been Turek. If you like what you're seeing, hit the like button and subscribe. If you want to see the notification every single time I release one of these videos, press the little bell icon, leave a comment. I'll see you all in the next episode.